Oh, he's getting it now.
Hey everybody, welcome to Metal Customs. Today, of course, we're back on the 78 Dodge Warlock project. If you've seen the video last week, you'll know we got a lot done. And the main goal this week that we're going to start on is getting the bed put back on. Casey got all the bed liner on it. It turned out really good. Customer came by and looked at it and he was happy with it, so that made me happy. But we're fixing to grab that bed and set it on there and get it bolted down. And then we'll start with some of that wood, which y'all have not seen yet. It's real pretty wood to go in there. It's new stainless steel strips and all. So, enough yapping. Let's get to working. Ready to work, Case?
Sure.
Sure. He's ready to work. Alright, first thing we're doing, getting this front bar on there. It goes roughly here. And we're not going to tighten these up until we get the bed sitting on there and a couple of bolt beds in. There is room enough for this thing to waller around a little bit. Alright, that's good enough. This one back here, we want to check it also. Leave this one tight and go off of this one?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds cool. Then we have the back bar that we're going to bolt. Then we have the back bar we're going to bolt to the actual bed. And then we'll figure out how it goes here. It doesn't have to bolt hole or nothing in it, does it?
No.
Right. That's all. It's okay. Now I'm going to assume it goes this way. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and we're ready to grab the bread and bring it in.
The bread? No,
The bread.
I don't want no bread.
I want the bread.
I want a bed. I want to go sleep.
Oh, the bed? We're going to grab the bed, the bread, whatever. This will be taken off anyway. Alright, well, let's go grab the bed, not the bread. Get the 2x4s out of there. Then we'll get it set down, and I'll move the camera around to the back and y'all see how we attach it and what's not. Alright, we got it set on there roughly where she needs to be. What we're going to do is take this front bar and go all the way forward with it and then tighten it up. We'll get on the other side. Get them snugged up, then we'll get the bolts dropped down, then we'll figure this out. These do not have no holes in them. I don't understand that. That should have had holes in it.
Yeah, remember you redid that piece of my knife.
Not this piece. That's an original. The only one's been redone is this one. Well, we'll get this right here and pull the tape and make sure our bed is exactly the same from the cap on each side. Then we can figure out this. Alright, now that we got that front mounted and we got everything measured out perfect, we know where the bed needs to be. Now we're set up this rear rail here with holes drilled in it in case it's fixing to drill through the new frame in order for us to bolt it. Alright, now that we have the back bolted in, These bolts are just dropped down in the holder, left to right, correct. Then we went up there, took them bolts back out of the front, because it's got to be raised up. So we just jammed on some 2x4s in there, get it raised up and hold it into place. Looks like we need to go up a little bit more on the left, and we'll take care of that. But it is time to bring out the wood and get busy with it. Oh, Casey's coming with a piece of the wood now. Y'all can see this stuff. It is beautiful. Yes, check that out. He had a gentleman up in Woodbury do these for him, and he done a great job. It's going to look awesome. Let us get everything configured, and then we'll get with it. All right. What we're doing now is getting this first board here in place. It's being a little bit temperamental. The wood actually seems to be a shade thicker than what our little lip is under here. That's okay. We will deal with it. We'll make this work. And the way to do this, in my opinion, we'll get this one in here, then we'll just start across and see how everything fits before we go pulling out the strips and tightening up bolts and all of that. Get it all in and check the fit first. Okay, she's going to finagle them two up there, and then we'll, like I say, we'll start laying the rest in and checking. Alright guys, cut these in here. The only bolt we have is one on each side. And we put a lock washer and nut on the bottom and just hand tighten. That's it. We're going to lay all these in here. Make sure everything fit, that we had enough lumber. And now, Casey's opening up the stainless steel strips, and we're going to set them in there and see how they fit. Then we'll start bolting everything up. All right, as you see, we got the other boards laid in. Stainless steel strips are here. Now we're just running through and basically setting all of our bolts in, make sure everything's going to line up. Because some of these holes, this is not configured like that one right there. So a lot of this is really just wiggle and jiggle the things fall in the hole where they belong. But you want to keep on keeping on. Yeah, there we go. That one's still there. Push it a little bit. See? Wiggle jiggle, it'll fit. Alright, we're going to get the rest of our bolts set down in here where they belong. And then we have big washers, lock washers, and nuts. Come up from the bottom and get all this tightened down. Alright guys, we got all the bolts dropped in. Now there's a row of bolts. Goes through this piece of channel. And as you can see, a row of bolts through that piece of channel. Once it's pulled down, the wood will sit up on the top of that as a support. And then up front, there's no support right across here. There should have been one. So, we're going to make one. And what we got, this is actually the front bumper metal out of a 2000 Mustang. We're going to cut off one of these squares and fabricate it and make some brackets. Because you can see right here, it's probably where the factory one bolted in there. So that's how we're going to do it. So let's crank up the plastic cutter and get that thing going in the right direction. Alright? Rock and roll, show us how it's done.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to.
Plasma King. Looking good. Alright, here's where we're at. And if anybody tells you that these are easy and quick to put in, they're lying. I have got a lot of time in just putting this bed in here. Well, me and Casey. What I've done is I went through, I got all the bolts in. Now I have all the nuts in except for 3. Y'all can see that one right there. Yeah, that's in a place that my hands just are not working well today. One on each side. Then I have this last one. I don't even think you can see it. Now you can't see it. It's up in here. I gotta still get it. But what I've done is went through and tightened all these down pretty snug in the same way on that front rail. Well, my goal was to get the wood pulled down to where it's supposed to be. And that way, we know where our brace needs to go as far as our height and things like that. And what I'm doing now, I've got this piece of square stock bolted down, and I'm taking the grinder and cleaning up the edge where we use the plasma cutter. And after that, I'll get it all cleaned up, get that end cleaned up. Then we'll hold it up there and mark the holes where we need to drill. Alright guys, now what we're going to do is see if we can get this brace up in there. It's making a bit long. We're going to use the widest, flattest section that we're going to end up bolting to. So, this thing should go in. Cut her about right there, and then see if she'll fit up in there like we want. Alright, cut 5 inches off of it. Let's see if that's going to be enough. Get her wiggle jiggled up in here. I think it will. Oh, fantastic. Alright, now we can see, hopefully y'all can see that okay, see what my plan is. This is going to be in this section right here, it'll be going up. So what I'm fixing to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get this centered, and then mark all of my holes for my bolts, get them drilled, mark corresponding holes at the bottom so I can get the nuts there. I think this brace will work out fantastic. Alright, I got that done. What I've done, I just used a plasma cutter and I come out some circles, come back with a big drill bit, cleaned them up. That's where the bolts will come through at. And then, still a little warm. Now I'll just be able to go through here with a socket and get the nuts and the lock washers on. And how I did that, I just took this socket right here, held it up there, then used my plasma torch to trace around it where I'd have a pretty, fairly straight, good looking hole. But yeah, that's got that taken care of. Now we got to get it on the truck and a couple of bolts holding it because we've got to make our side braces to bolt to the frame. Alright guys, got a bolt nut in each end of that, and I did make sure that all the bolts fell down through there like they were supposed to, and it all looks pretty good. Now we've got to get some end plates made so we can bolt it to the frame. What I've got here is some of this mild steel, and this is pretty thick. I think it'll work just fine. I measured it, I'm going to slice it exactly in half. So what I've done is put a plate up here. I'll use this as a guide and run my plasma cutter down through there and get a nice even cut on it. cut, ground clean. Both of them turned out really well. Now let's get them up here and see how they fit and get them holes marked where we can get them drilled. Alright, they seem like they're going to fit just fine. Just like this, covers up a little bit of that hole, but that's okay, I reckon. Whatever it is, what it is, I can still get a socket in there and be able to get to that nut. Now, see if this magnet can hold that for us. Yeah, good enough. Grab a marker, go on the inside and mark our holes. See that? I almost got killed. Apparently that magnet wasn't where it needed to be. Let's try it again. Third time's a charm. Got them marked, we'll do the same for the other side. Then we'll get them bolted in and then try to get some welding done. Alright, we got both of them drilled on each side. Let's see if we can get this thing bolted up. What we're going to have to do is get it bolted up and get some a little bit of welding done and take it down and then really get some welding done. Got them bolted in there. I think it's going to work out really well. Now, all we need to do is get a bead run across here that, like I say, will hold it into place. And we'll go ahead and put a mark on the inside because I'm going to put a little gusset in there as well. Well, let me go ahead and get this welded up and then we'll get it on the table. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that little gusset on it. Then we'll get that welded up. Now, we'll get that all welded up. I sprayed some of the self-etching primer on it. See these little standards I put in here? This will just help. Gets more contact of weld to everything, and it will just help the stability of it some. And doesn't really hurt the looks none at all. But cool. Well, we're going to let this sit here and dry overnight because I'm going to call it a day for the day. We'll come back out in the morning, got to get some primer sprayed on top of this, and then get her painted black, and get her installed and get this bed finished up as far as the wood part goes. Well, everybody, we got that brace painted. It's outside drying at the moment, so got to give it, I let it dry a day or it just get all scratched up when you try to put it on. We did real good this week on the bed. That was a lot of work and really time consuming, but I'm happy with the way it's turning out. We get that brace in there and a couple of more nuts and lock washers. We should have it all locked down and finished. But that's going to wrap it up for this week. We're just out of time. we'll get back on it next week and see what all we can accomplish then. In the meantime, I do appreciate y'all watching. If you would, throw me down some comments, and please like, share, and subscribe. Again, appreciate you watching. Till the next one, I hope that everyone has a fantastic day.